back here at the Horseshoe Indianapolis. We are back on February 1st, day after my first outright win at HSI since they opened the poker room. Started having tournaments in June. I was gone in Las Vegas from May to July, and so I've been playing in tournaments at HSI since July. Have not been able to win one, but I've chopped several, gotten second a few times, third a few times, fourths, fifths, and so it was a nice one to get off my back. And we're going to come in here on the first with a renewed spirit after winning the day before, especially after coming from behind. Really didn't have any chip, or was out chipped most of the final table, and was able to persevere and pick up some hands in some good spots. So we're going to come back here today and see if we can't replicate this. All right, so we're going to come in here. The first hand that I'm going to be able to show you is level 12. The blinds are 3,000, 6,000, 6,000 ante. I'm 61,500 effective, and this is my buddy Marque. Play a lot with Marque. Just a great player. Enjoy playing with him, watching him, and we're going to instantly see what it's like to double up the short stack at the table. Marque's got almost 200,000 effective, and he's in the small blind against the big blind with 10-4 offsuit. Big blind has 6-7, and he's able to make a straight. Marque doubles him up. I show this hand because it's going to come into play later. We're going to go now to level 12. Still blinds are 3,000, 6,000, 6,000. We have 9 players left. And you can see the mountain of chips that Marque has amassed here. And we're going to pick up a really nice pair of aces. Great timing. We're under the gun +1. We've got 74,500 effective. 9 players remaining. Really, anytime you pick up aces, it's a dream spot, but it's really nice to pick them up here. And we're going to bump it up to 25,000. About 4.5x, not quite. A little over 4x. And I really feel like with aces here, we can kind of name our price. And that we do. We get one caller, and we go to a flop, and the board comes 4 deuce 5. Good flop for us. It's good for our range. Our opponent's a pretty tight player here. I really feel like putting the pressure on, so we make it 30K. On the flop bet, and our opponent snap calls. A little surprising. It could mean he's got a pocket pair bigger than the board. 2 overs floating. Really, we don't know much at this point other than he's a pretty conservative player, so we're amassing quite a pot right now. And the turn comes the queen of spades. So pretty good turn for us. If he's got a queen, he's going to pay us off, and we decide to ship it. So go all in and wait for him to contemplate the error of his ways, and he decides to fold. So we end up picking up a really nice pot here, in position against this player. All right, so we come to this next hand. We've got 198,000 effective. We've got king, queen offsuit. And earlier, the gentleman in the button that bluffed me pretty good, showed it, was proud. He decides to go all in here for 60,000. And we pick up a nice king, queen. I want to make sure that we're in good shape going forward, and I decide to call it off here. And we get the bad news immediately that we're up against kings. So I feel a little foolish. He's gotten me twice in a row. And he runs pure. He's safe even though the ace comes. So we come to this next hand. We're level 13. The blinds are 4,000, 8,000 with an 8,000 ante. We have 6 players left, and everyone left here is in the money. Mark still has a mountain of chips in front of me, but I've caught up a little bit. So with 6 remaining, I've picked up a few hands and been able to take advantage of some spots. So Mark raises to 18,000 here under the gun, and the small blind flats his 18,000. Small blind has about 105,000 left, roughly. We've got 245,000 effective, and we peel back a beautiful ace king of clubs. So it gets us here, and we're trying to decide exactly what we're going to do here in the big blind. And I decide to go all in to see where we're at. I don't want to let Mark see a cheap flop, and I certainly want to isolate the small blind who just flatted. So go all in, and Mark goes into the tank for a little bit here. He really tries to get a read on me. He's paying attention to the small blind. We both have enough chips to cut him down a lot. So he goes into his patented tank here late in the tournament, and really thinks about this one. Didn't ever tell me what he had here, but with a little bit of casual conversation behind him, picking up his cards, he knows what he's got to call off, which is everything at this point, and he's not real happy about it. Gives me a little talking to, and then lets it go. And then we get the best thing possible here with the small blind situation, and we get a fuck it call, and we're in great shape. Turns over queen 5, and we get a clean run out. We get the ace on the flop to almost flop him dead, and then we turn him dead. So just a really nice little run out for us. Good sized pot, well over 180,000 in this pot. So we get a nice add to our stack. Let's keep it going. All right, so we're 3-handed. We're on the last break here before we finish, and Mark's got about 40% of the chips in play, 45% of the chips in play. Sign's not quite correct. We do have 3 players left. Sitting with 137,000 effective now. The blinds are 8,000, 16,000 with a 16,000 ante. I'm in the small blind here, and I peel back 3 of diamonds, 6 diamonds. Not loving my hand in this spot necessarily, but would like to see a flop if we can here. And we decide to flat. Mark, with this mountain of chips, does what he should, and he raises. Very surprised he didn't raise more than this. I think he was trapping, obviously. Find out he's got a pretty big hand. He raises to 32,000, and the button folds, and we flop the joint, which is just huge at this point in the tournament. 3-handed, flop the world. We've got an open-ended straight flush draw in case we can't win the hand with what we have right now. Mark makes it 30,000, and we've got a decision here, and not much of one, obviously. We're shoving here with the last of our chips. Try to get every ounce of value that we can out of this hand since we flopped it, and decide to ship it here. Mark has a no-brainer situation. I mean, he's only drawing dead to what we've got, and he ends up turning up kings. So he was trapping, and we get a clean run out. So good hand to go on. That's the painful thing about poker, and also the elation is when you pick up a hand like that and you're dominated by kings 3-handed, and he's just kicking himself. So That's the way it goes. It's come a few hands later, and Mark has just doubled up the gentleman in the small blind in a hand, literally the hand before this. He brought him just a little over 100,000. He stayed in the tournament with that hand, and we pick up pocket tens here in the big blind. Blinds are 10K, 20K with the 20K ante. Mark on the button bumps it up to 40, just a min raise, and the small blind doesn't hesitate. He goes all in. So now we have a decision to make. If Mark's going to come in behind us, he can end it right here and there by taking both of us out. He has us both covered. Kind of looking to see what he's looking at, and he doesn't seem too concerned with me. Really worried about the small blind more or less, and I think I'm just too strong here to let this go. Three-handed, got to take my chances. He's likely got an ace, possibly king X hand, and we decide to go with it. So we're all in, and we have him covered. So if Mark folds, which he does quickly, and we get at least the good news, we're going to stay in the tournament. And like I said, he's got 107,000 effective. We started out with 215, so we have him covered. We're going to find out he's got ace queen, so we've got to dodge 2 overs. And our dealer Ross usually bad beats the hell out of us. He gets us through. So we get a really pure board of 4, 8, 5, 9, 9. Really no sweat at all on the flop or the turn. All right, so we're heads up now, level 17. Blinds are 10K, 20K, 20K. It's funny how things come around, similar hands and so forth. Mark, I've got him severely out chipped now at this point, and he's pretty much going to ship it with any ace, king, queen. I feel like I've never played heads up with Mark, but strikes me as the type that knows that he's got to get it in with one of those 3 cards. And we peel back a really just unbelievable hand, considering that we snapped it off earlier with 3, 6 of diamonds, and he had pocket kings, and we peel back kings. He goes all in on the button first to act, and we get a courtesy tournament win. Queen 5 of hearts, and we get the pure run out. No sweat, ace on the turn, and he's just dead at that point. So we take this one home, and really, all in all, made some pretty good decisions. Got very fortunate in spots, and 60 players in the tournament tonight, and make a nice little cash to take down our second tournament in 2 nights. So here we go. So we've got a new segment to the vlog coming here up next. It's our Down with the Dealer. And our first dealer is going to be Marque. So here we go. All right, I'm here with Marque, the dealer's here at the Horseshoe Indianapolis.
Hello, everyone.
Marque has been gracious enough to do a little interview for my Dealer Down segment. And so I'm going to ask you 5 questions.
Yes, sir.
Just about your job. Nothing ever personal, obviously. Nothing ever. But what's one of the best parts of your job here at the Horseshoe?
I guess it would be the freedom that I get to have. I don't feel like I'm constructed to have to do certain things all the time. I feel like I'm playing a game and dealing and having fun. I'm about to say, not many jobs you get to have fun. So this is a pretty fun job, I'll say.
Good. What's your biggest pet peeve about poker players?
Teaching me how to deal. Ain't nothing worse than having someone teach me how to deal.
Hear that? Be quiet, everyone.
Yes.
Be quiet. Let him do his job. He's the one getting paid. He's the professional. And Mike will confirm that. Correct, Mike?
Yes.
Professional.
Leave him alone. Leave the dealers alone.
We appreciate that.
That's Mike. He was a dealer here. Now he's just a player tearing everybody up. So what's the biggest cash game pot you've ever dealt?
Oh, it would have to be a PLO game that I had to deal like when we first opened up. I would say that was when we had like, let's say everyone didn't care what they did with their money at that point in time.
They still don't. They just the game doesn't go off like it used to here.
That is true.
There used to be $20, $30, $40, $50,000 on the table.
Yeah, I would say I had to have pushed at least 15,000 one time.
All right.
Horseshoe, Indianapolis, that's a pretty decent.
It's a good size pot.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
it's not too bad.
absolutely. And do you play yourself?
I do. I like to play a lot of home games. I'll go to Cincinnati every once in a while to try to get in. But I'm definitely still a fish to the whole thing.
Well, at least you play. That's good.
Yeah.
Some dealers don't play at all, and it's
I love the
part
game.
that they struggle with the game. So good for you.
Thank you.
And what's one thing that you want to do beyond dealing, I guess, or in dealing at poker? Something bigger you've got on your plate?
I want to deal high-stake games, but I'm really intrigued into the dealers who deal in the circuit, that travel and deal.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool to me. I either want to deal in high leverage games or deal on the circuit one time and go around and travel and deal, have a good time. Need
Cool.
more people like you, Todd.
I just donate to the pool. All right, well, Marque, thanks for sitting down with us. I appreciate
you, Todd.
All right, have a good one.
Thank you.
All right, it's that time of the vlog. We're going to review a local restaurant that we've been to. This one just opened up a couple of months back. Very busy, a lot of great reviews. Anthology, Greenwood, Indiana. Just an absolutely great menu. They serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 2 different menus. The brunch breakfast menu is amazing. Their bourbon selection is phenomenal. Just a great atmosphere, decorated very nicely. Come in and have some coffee, cordials at night. They got a little lounging area for drinks, as well as dinner and lunch, breakfast. We had the biscuit board with the cornbread waffles to start, and it was delicious. Took half of it home, of course, and I had the veggie omelet with the pesto, delicious, and Natalie had the chicken sandwich, which she said was amazing. So a little shot of the inside here, just a really nice decor, hospitable, and we had a great breakfast. So if you get out here, check it out. This is going to wrap up episode 5 of the vlog. I really thank each and every one of you for taking the time to view this, and jam that like and subscribe button for me. Thanks.